You're gonna think I'm crazy, but the towers in Jabba's palace move. Look at the mid-sized tower in this shot from the Book of Boba Fett. It's sticking out. Now, look at it in this shot, also from the Book of Boba Fett. It's set back far enough that you wouldn't be able to see it in the other shot if it were still in this location. So today, we're gonna break the boundaries of the camera and look beyond what Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Robert Rodriguez wanted you to see. And, stay with me here, we're gonna do it by using Minecraft to recreate these camera shots, and then pull the camera back and explore exactly in the terrain where these towers ended up, and more importantly, why. And whether they have a good reason or not depends greatly on your own point of view. Get it? Point of view? We're zooming out to a new point of... forget it. Anyways, for the rest of this video to make sense, we need to understand some of the differences between the Jabba's Palace and Return of the Jedi, and what's now Boba Fett's palace in the Book of Boba Fett. Because if you're like me, you keep an eagle eye out for all the cool details that make Star Wars a world you'd want to live in, which means you probably also catch all the inconsistencies, and boy howdy, are there inconsistencies.
Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
So, let's talk about the Return of the Jedi version, which is what I based this Minecraft map you're seeing off of. We know what the outside looks like from the two establishing shots in the movie, and I noticed that the mid-sized tower was in front of the tall tower in both shots. But those towers are to the left of the main building in the first shot and to the right of it in the second, plus there's no front door in the second, which means that the camera angles are completely different from each other. And that means that if there were only one mid-sized tower, you wouldn't be able to see it from most angles because either the tall tower or the main building would be in the way. The Complete Locations book has a nice solve to this problem, which is that there are two mid-sized towers, with one camera shot pointing north and the other one pointing west. That way, regardless of which camera angle, the main building blocks your point of view of one mid-tower, and the other mid-tower will always be in front of the tall one. Now, let's look at what they did with the Book of Boba Fett. As the show released, as it happens, it quickly became clear that the VFX team at ILM had other things on their mind, and they decided that there would only be one mid-sized tower at any given time, and they just got around the whole problem by moving the two biggest towers around depending on the shot.
Well, you said it, Chewie.
So much for that theory. But either way, I am curious, where did they put those moving towers? So using Photoshop, I plotted each shot of Boba Fett's palace onto an overhead view of my Minecraft map. Each shot sits at the convergence of two red lines, and the angle between them shows the camera's approximate viewing angle. After I did this, I discovered there are about 4 different tower configurations used throughout the show. So let's look at those right now. The first specialty shot here is the one we've already seen. What's weird is that they redid the shot from the teaser trailer for some reason, and as we pull out, you can see just where those towers ended up, right next to the front door. Does anyone's guess why they redid this shot using the front side of the main building? Because it looks like they shot it from the proper side in the teaser, but maybe that's why. Perhaps they decided it was just too much the same, but they loved the kind of shot composition because of Return of the Jedi doing a similar thing. So they just changed it around to make it look a little different. Just a guess. The next configuration is one used for the majority of shots and is seen in episodes 3, 4, and 6. Which I guess makes it the default, perhaps, canon configuration. One tall tower in the rear, with the mid tower set back behind the main building, which is where it would be for the ROTJ backdoor shot. Now, I didn't finish redoing the terrain here, so the mid tower is kind of floating, but this is still the configuration that's closest to what's seen in Return of the Jedi. The next shot is my personal favorite because it's the most wacky. At the end of episode 4, you have these mob bosses who are all walking out to their speeders and then just pan up to a tall tower. While looking at the recreation of Minecraft, I just had to laugh because this is the most audacious use of visual cheating I've seen in a while. The tower is just out in the middle of nowhere. Also, don't mind the floating towers in the background. Those are just the models I used to copy and paste to make these recreations. But look at that thing. It's just, it's nowhere near where it should be. Finally, the last shot recreates the tower configuration in the other Return of the Jedi matte painting before zooming in on Fennec. She reminds me of Sam. I don't know why, but it's this shot that started the whole thing. When I watched the trailer last November and noticed the mid tower sticking out from the main building, I knew something was fishy because it wasn't sticking out in the shot with the Bomar Monk spider thing. So why would they arbitrarily move these towers? Well, for the creators of Book of Boba Fett, I can't ascribe motives, nor would I want to. These are serious creative professionals and they deserve that respect. But I can think like a creative because I am one. So if I were in their shoes with a giant 3D world sandbox called Stagecraft, I'd be tempted to take advantage of the one teeny tiny thing that technology gives me.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Itty bitty filming space. If I could move some 3D models around to get an awesome camera shot, then I'd do it. And I strongly suspect Boba Fett's palace only looks good from certain angles if the towers stay where they are. So being able to move them around gives you a lot of options. I mean, George Lucas didn't even build physical sets, for goodness sake. This is just a more sophisticated version of that's easy to get carried away with. Okay, look, I got a level here. This stuff drives me batty, and it's because of a purpose Star Wars served for me at a key phase in my life. See, Star Wars was the world that got me through the hellscape that was junior high. It existed, made sense, and any cracks in that illusion because the authors who wrote the Legends books weren't paying attention, they got papered over with the next Legends story to come out. In short, having an imaginary world I could escape to that was a place that might once have existed mattered to me because it made it possible for me to navigate the real one that I was living in. Just as one example, I learned to think like Thrawn and anticipate the bullies. By the way, if you're still growing up and you're having a bully problem, read the original Thrawn trilogy, study that character, you'll thank me later, but don't just hang on to him past the point you need him, because it'll hold you back if you do that too long. There's balance in everything. There's a balance in everything. That's what Star Wars is about. Where was I? Oh yeah. I don't like it when creative types break the world, so to speak, to get cool shots. The whole point of fiction is to transport viewers to a place they think could be real so that the story can impart truths that are actually real. And this undermines that whole enterprise. People stop believing and watching, and whatever you're trying to say
with your art goes unheard. Being able to move some towers around to get good shots is creative, granted. But you want to know what's more creative? Working within the structures previously established in the world around you. Treating the world as if it's real.
Okay, that's enough of that guy. Look, I have news for him.
It's fake!
Yeah, but isn't even a fake world, or as Tolkien put it, a secondary world worth believing in? Comment below. And check out this video if you want to see how I made this Minecraft map. It's pretty cool, actually.